want to start by thanking everybody for the opportunity to be a part of this 2023 football season. It was a season where we had great expectations, a tremendously tough schedule that was out there in front of us. I'm not sure that anybody played a more difficult football schedule than we did this year, and just want to say how proud I am of this group of kids. And we came into the season with really high expectations and high hopes for what was in front of us. We felt like we were tremendously talented, a lot of key returners on both sides of the ball, and new coaches, new philosophies and things, and some of that took a little while to get going, but we saw some games in there where we did some awesome things. We were coming off a season where we had missed the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, and it's been a run of 10 consecutive playoff appearances, which is a school record. And that was the big challenge, I think, for the seniors this year, was they wanted to get back there. They wanted to win, but they wanted to get back into the playoffs. And, obviously the bell was a big thing. They wanted to bring the bell back home. That's how 2023 started. And anyway, these kids just competed their tails off all year. And so just looking at a season recap, we started the season with 2 losses to Teague and Taylor, in which I felt like we played some great defense, had a lot of chances. Just offensively, we're not able to get things going at the right time, and the offense happens that way. And a offensive change, it's a new coaching staff and stuff where you delay a little bit offensively. Went into Lexington in week 3 and had to win a tough one on the road there. We won that game behind 104 yards from Bladen Barczyk and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Just did a fantastic job for us. Kick return for a touchdown by Jeremiah Carter also really sealed the deal there late in the game. Went in and lost to Jim Ned before we started district play against Franklin. And Franklin was a game that I was extremely impressed with us on the defensive end of the football. We just continued to battle, had a great game plan, I feel like, and had a chance to win it. We were down 10 with about a minute to go, scored a touchdown, needed to make a 2-point conversion, get an onside kick to really have a chance, and miss the conversion. But our kids really felt good about where we were. Again, Barczyk had another big day. I think it was that game. We had a big one on in the air as he threw for over 300 yards that day. Had several different receivers, Chalk and Marrero and Shepard, that were all over 50 yards receiving in that ball game. Troy might have been one of those games that just kind of defined us as a football team. I feel like we started down 20-3 at half, reemerged in the third quarter. I think we scored 26 unanswered points. Was one, if not the biggest offense outputs that we had all year. Again, led by Bladen. Bladen had almost 200 yards through the air and ran for over 100. Had 3 touchdowns again on the ground, 4 touchdowns all around. Jeremiah Carter had over 100 yards receiving and a score, and Sawyer Chalk was, again, a big presence for us, had 90 yards of all-purpose yardage for us in rushing and passing. Ended up losing to Lorena the following week, but again, just kind of a gutty performance for us. Just felt like we continued to battle and lost the game. It ended up being a close one, but lost the game where we had a chance to many chances there early and there at the end where I felt like we could have made some things happen. Bladen again had over almost 300 yards passing, had 281 through the air. Sawyer Chalk and Riley Spears both had 100 yards receiving that night. And then we went to the Battle of the Bell and just kind of blew that door open early. DeAndre Stevens had a couple of big fumble recoveries, also made some huge catches in that ball game. Came away with a touchdown. We had over 150 yards passing in the game with Bladen. He also ran for almost 200, ran for 178 4 touchdowns, which is just kind of the big exclamation point there. And Sawyer Chalk had 12 carries for 100 yards in that game. And just nice to get the bell back, kind of see everything click, and things were really working for us in that game. Fell short in the final 2 games against Academy and McGregor. McGregor being kind of the heartbreaker. We had lost on the last-second field goal. And then went into a by-district playoff game with Columbus, and Columbus is a really good football team. And just we ended up setting a school record, I believe, and passing attempts. We're just short of a school record and completions in that ball game. But we felt like we needed to throw the football well and to have a chance to win it. We threw for over 250 yards. DeAndre Stevens had 11 catches for 121 yards, 1 touchdown. That reception mark put him pretty high up on a single game total as having receptions in a football game. So we're excited to have him back and doing those things, but just really felt like overall, we did some things we wanted to do. We got the bell back, got back into the playoffs. We fell short some other areas, felt like we were in some games that we should have been able to win. The Teague game, we feel like we really let go there early in the season, and having Franklin Arena on the ropes when one of them plays for a state champion and the other one's real darn close to it. We felt really good about where we were in those games, just not quite ready to make that big jump and knock down some of those to be really, really where we need to be. But very proud of our kids. They've done a great job this year. And we just look forward to what we have coming in 24, and just really want to thank our senior class of 23 and 24 and just what they met for our program. Just a ton of athleticism in those kids that we're going to be missing out on. So I'm going to move forward here to our individual awards. We have all district kids, our first team and second team all district kids, also our honorable mention all district kids, as they were recognized by the district. Also our THSCA Academic All-State recipients. And then from there, we're going to move on into our individual team awards. We had an extremely talented senior class this year, just made everything award-wise very difficult for us as a staff. So we ended up culling several of our awards. I just want to start with our Tiger Fight Never Dies award. We had two individuals on our football team that I feel like just stood out to us, that every day come to work, they always put the team first over any type of selfish needs that they might have individually. I could always see their extra effort and practice. The game time stuff was never going to be a doubt, but both these kids just poured their heart and soul into this football team. I think if you ask anybody, any one of our coaches, any of our players, they would come up with the same two individuals that really personify Tiger Fight Never Dies. Our two award winners are Isaiah Sauls and Miguel Garcia. We also code our Offensive and Defensive Lineman of the Year award. Didn't just go to guys that played one side or the other. I think that's the biggest thing is I didn't really want to pick that, or our coaching staff, we really just didn't want to pick from that as one side or the other. But these two guys, predominantly offensive linemen, but saw their time on the defensive end of the ball. And the biggest thing about them, just very unselfish kids, always steady presence. Both of them, different situations throughout the season, kind of had to battle back through injury. But we gave this to two guys that the biggest deal for me was when they were needed on the defensive end of the ball, they came to play. And, we live and breathe defense on this football team, and just try to talk to them about how important it is to give yourself on that end. And these two guys just did an excellent job for us when they had their time called, and just like I said, there's a steady presence on the offensive end. Our two linemen of the year are Mason Mashevitz and Mason Willard. We have also coded our utility player of the year this year. Again, these are guys that are going to play on both sides of the football. You really don't notice much of a drop-off in production on either side for either one of them. And basically what ends up happening is you're not going to do what you need to do without either of these two kids on both sides of the ball. We gave this award to junior Sawyer Chalk and senior Riley Spears. Sawyer is an outside linebacker and really a multiple guy defensively for us, and just had to adjust to some things as he had played free safety for us in the past. Riley Spears had been a defensive end, not seen just a whole lot of playing time in the past year on the defensive end of the football, and we had to move him back to linebacker, and we just felt like he really handled that transition well. Was one of our top tacklers. He was also our tight end. I feel still, I've said this several times, I don't feel like I utilized him enough at his role at tight end. I think he's got a tremendous frame and a talent for catching the football that we just were not able to really get him the touches that he needed on that end. But he just did an excellent job. We run behind him as being our tight end on the strong side. I would say probably 65 to 80% of the time we're running behind his direction. So, again, these two guys, very similar to MVPs of the football team, but our utility players of the year are Sawyer Chalk and Riley Spears. Our defensive player of the year is the guy that led us in tackles. He is the main guy on our defense. He fits the mold perfectly. We kind of watched him going in. It was really no question as we watched film from the previous year who the middle linebacker was going to be on our football team. We just need a guy that's going to be around the football at all times, doesn't miss many tackles, mobile. Size is never an issue with this guy. Just you got to be able to sneak through gaps and make a lot of plays. One of our top tackle for loss guys, but was really just, I wouldn't necessarily say a surprise, but I mean he was just a bright spot for our defense in a lot of ways. He had some injury problems there late in the year that gave him some issues, and he just fought through those and continued to battle. Just so very proud of this guy and how he played this year. But our defensive player of the year was senior Kemar Spencer. Our final award is our offensive MVP, and I think this one's a no-brainer. He leads us in pretty much every statistical category. He's also in the all-time categories in school history. He's just about on everything that we could possibly have. His name's going to be there. But our offensive player of the year is senior Bladen Barczyk. Bladen's a 3-year starter at quarterback. Just one of those guys. As I was looking into the job, I knew there was a lot of talent coming back in that position. It's going to be very, very hard to replace. Bladen ended up being having some of the top seasons statistically in the history of the school, and left as the all-time leading passer yardage-wise. He broke Coach Brinkley's record and really shattered it. I mean, he's over 1,000 yards out in front of every other quarterback. That one might hold on for a long, long time. He had a completion in a game. He sits second on that list. Complete attempts in a game. He broke that record and pretty much shattered that one this year. Career touchdown passes. He's sitting up high on that list. Also, I believe he's third on the career touchdown list with 52 touchdown passes. Total yardage in a season, he sits fourth and fifth with his 23 and his 22 season. So this year was the fourth best statistical year for a player in total yardage in school history, and he's like I said, he's been able to duplicate that in the last 2 years. I don't have access to total yards in his career, but I believe he's got to have that one by a landslide for statistical yards in his career. But again, just an outstanding talent, going to be tremendously missed. His work ethic on the field is unquestioned and unmatched, and it's going to be really hard to replace him at that position, because not only do you get a heck of a quarterback, you get a heck of a running back as well out of him, and it allows you just to do so many things offensively. And I just wish I had a little bit more time to get him to lead our offense. And so anyway, our offensive player of the year for the 23 season was senior Bladen Barczyk. I'm going to spend this time talking about now that we've given the awards, just the rest of our senior class, if they weren't part of the award category, and just give them some time. Their numbers start at the bottom of the roster, work our way up. Number 73, Chad David. Chad's just a tremendous force on our defensive line. Chad is unblockable. He's one you look at on film and you go, holy heck, how are we going to take care of this guy? He's probably going to demand a double team or even a triple team on almost snaps. If you see him on one side of the defensive line, you're going to do everything you can to run away from him. And the thing we were blessed with is we had defensive linemen that you really couldn't run away from. Did a great job keeping people off our linebackers and also fighting through injury himself, playing all year long on a torn meniscus and just fighting through that pain. And did a pretty good job of not complaining about that at all. I don't think I ever heard from Chad during the course of a game or even a practice about that being an issue for him. Number 72, DeAnthony Lockett. DeAnthony, just ended up. I was so proud of him there late in the season. We got a ton of reps out of him on both sides of the ball, really. I don't know that he was even expecting to have to play some offense, but when we had some injuries and some roster changes that we had to make, D-Lock had to step in and do it, and he played a ton of defensive line there late in the season, and really, really key moments when we had injuries and some other things. Came away with a sack there. I can't remember if that was I want to say the McGregor game, and just always where he's supposed to be, and did a great job for us this season. Let's see who else we not hit. Number 23, Carson Oath. Carson played outside backer for us. We had some things early with him injury wise, trying to get him healthy, but then turned into a steady presence there as an outside linebacker. Really got comfortable playing the position. We did rotate him in and out off the field sometimes, but just one of those things that he was steady. He's always going to be where he's supposed to be in the defensive secondary. Not afraid to come up and strike you a little bit and set the edge. That's what we need from our outside linebackers. Very rarely going to miss a tackle. So Carson just really fit the role for us as an outside linebacker. Like I said, he'll be missed in that presence. We have some holes to fill at our outside linebacker positions, which I think are key to our defense. Number 15, Kadeem Gates. Just so proud of Kadeem. Kadeem is one that could play tight end, play inside linebackers. Every once in a while, we put him down as a defensive lineman. He played defensive end in the past and started some games there in those positions. Kadeem, he's one of the most likable kids that you're ever going to be around, and does a great job of competing when he gets opportunities to do so. But had a great season. Just the fact that we had him out and had him getting opportunities to get roles. Great special teams player for us. Kadeem did a great job with that. Number 12, Saint Medrano. Saint also battled some injuries. I believe we had a hamstring injury early with him. Really just showed us what he could do as an outside linebacker also late in the season. And it took a while, as long as he had to sit with his injury.